Hello. I didn't know I was speaking until about 5 minutes ago, so please excuse me if I sound a little bit off the cuff. Just made a few notes here. And I have, what, about 15, 20 minutes?
You have till, what time is it now?
Okay, well, just stop me when I need to stop. So I wanted to reinforce, first of all, a message that Anne made. She was talking about empowerment. And I just love that word. This book that she couldn't remember the name of, Anne, is called The Whole Foods Guide. Not Whole Foods, sorry, that's a trademark. Whoops, never mind. It's called The Whole Food Guide, we won't get sued that way, for breast cancer survivors. And it actually just came out 2 weeks ago, so we're pretty excited about that. We're selling it out there. And one of the messages of the book is that you have so much more power than you probably believe that you have. There are so many things that you can do in your own behalf for yourself that you may not be aware of. So what I was doing was I was just taking a couple of notes here about a few things that I thought, just sort of little pearls that I thought, maybe they don't know this. So I'll tell them. So basically, the book is kind of based on the concept of total toxic load or total toxic burden. You know, you can think of it like a bank account, or, you know, the more withdrawals that come out of the account, if you don't keep investing, then you're going to overdraft, right? So the healthy foods and supplements and things are things we put in the bank account. The toxins, and by toxins I mean the xenoestrogens, the inflammatory chemicals, the high blood sugar, elevated blood sugar, insulin, the pesticides, the heavy metals. I mean, all of it adds to our total toxic burden. Okay, so what we're trying to do is we're trying to say, well, how can we make that bank account be in the plus column and not in the negative column? And that's really basically what the book is about, is getting your bank account, getting out of debt. So that said, I wanted to point out, just as I said, a couple of little pearls. The first one, actually, that I'll mention has to do with stress, because it kind of stressed me out when Anne said, okay, you have to come up and talk in 5 minutes. But I don't have anything prepared or anything. So right now, I'm probably excreting, or when I go to the ladies' room, I will be excreting a larger than normal amount of magnesium and zinc, because magnesium and zinc are both excreted through stress. And I bring that up because one of the things I did a lot of research on in putting this book together was nutrient deficiencies. And magnesium and zinc are two minerals that are so critical to so many enzymatic reactions in our body that if you're not magnesium or zinc deficient before you get a diagnosis, I can pretty much guarantee you that after you get a diagnosis, you're going to be magnesium and zinc deficient. So I want to point out those two minerals to you. I like to use them I like to use all supplements in a food-based form so that you get all the cofactors that belong with the food. I do believe in supplements, but I really prefer food-based supplements if at all possible. So those are two really, really big ones that I wanted to mention. Another nutrient that doesn't get talked about that much, although sometimes it does at this conference, is iodine. Are people up on iodine here? Okay. So iodine has a lot to do with cellular proliferation, with differentiation, with apoptosis. It's particularly important for the health of breast and thyroid tissue. There is a way to test your iodine. The way I do it with my clients is called an iodine loading test. Okay, and what you do is you literally take some iodine and then you collect your urine, you collect your pee for the next 24 hours, and then they check it to see how much of the iodine you've excreted. The philosophy behind this test is that when your body needs iodine, it will hoard the iodine. So you will excrete very little of it. When your body has all that it wants, then it will just let it pass on through. So that is a test that I think is a really good idea. It's only, I think it's only about somewhere between $75 and $100, so it's not an expensive test. Most practitioners can get it for you. I'm a nutritionist. I can get it for my clients. Your doctor can get it. A naturopath can get it. It's a good thing to know. Another thing that's important to know in terms of nutrients, again, this is not in any particular order for today, is that a lot of the pharmaceuticals that we take are very nutrient depleting. So, for example, birth control pills deplete our B vitamins and lots of magnesium. But I wanted to actually call attention to one medication in particular because it's being used with such great success, actually, in terms of managing, particularly triple negative, and it's metformin. I don't know if anybody here is doing metformin, but I know people are familiar with it, and it's really been used a lot lately. Some people are having great luck with it, and it's a good medication. However, metformin depletes CoQ10, vitamin E, folate, and B12. So another point that I want to make, and Julia said make 3 points, but I think I'm making more than 3, Julia, not counting. But I do want to make the point that that medications can be very depleting of nutrients. And this is something, if you go and you go on Amazon.com and you look up either Alan Gaby or Ross Pelton and get a book, a reference for yourself, because your doctor's not going to tell you this. Get a book of drug-nutrient interactions. And then anytime, can I repeat it? Yeah, it would either be Alan Gaby, G-A-B-Y, or Ross Pelton has done one, P-E-L-T-O-N. James and Phyllis Balch, B-A-L-C-H, they've done one as well. I use it as a Bible with my clients because whenever they come in and they tell me I'm on this or that or the other thing, immediately I open up the book and I go, okay, these are the nutrients we really need to focus on. So that's an important thing to keep in mind. In terms of your nutrient status, again, what's your stress level? What are you losing more quickly than you would like to? What medications are you on that might be depleting your nutrients? And then another thing that's important is to think about is the health of your gut. Because if your gut's not doing a good job absorbing, then you're not getting those nutrients into your body. So paying attention to your gut health is another important point that I want to make. And particularly, I want to emphasize the importance of gut flora. I think they're highly underrated, all those little billions of bacteria that live in our small and large intestines. Very, very underrated. But they actually, when we have a good population of them, they produce vitamin K, they produce some of our B vitamins, and they actually help to detoxify estrogen, which I think is just totally miraculous and is just so beautiful the way our bodies are designed so that our gut function can actually help keep our hormones in balance. So having the right gut flora is very important. If you have any intestinal issues, I would either suggest checking them out with a functional doctor, because if you go to a regular GI person, they're going to look at the anatomy of your intestines, and they're going to say, okay, well, you don't have any tumors, you don't have any blockages, your colon is the right form, it's the right shape, but it doesn't tell you anything about how it's functioning. It doesn't tell you about the enzymes you're secreting. It doesn't tell you about pathogens or yeast that might be in your intestines.